Hey guys, Lastbrohican here, and I wanted to talk about the announcement of the successor to one of my favorite base/dungeon building games, Evil Genius. At last year's E3, Jason Kingsley, the CEO of Rebellion, let everyone know that after 13 years of silence, Evil Genius will finally be getting its own proper PC sequel. This was amazing news when I first heard it. Obviously not much is known about the game due to its infancy status, but even just hearing the words that a game development company is going forth to try and continue this very unique game and very unique title just brought me so much freaking joy. But before jumping straight into my hopes and wants for the game, let me set the background of the game for those of you who have not played it, or it's just been so long since it has been over a decade. Evil Genius is a strategy-based building game with elements of dungeon creation that puts you as you might have guessed it, evil genius bent on taking over the world. Considering the relevant timelines of when this game came out and when the movies were released, Evil Genius takes on a very Austin Powers kind of feel with the international espionage of the 60s and 70s, where you can play as a Dr. Evil lookalike, a power-hungry, stereotypical-looking evil Asian man, or a Cruella de Vil personality. The game progresses by you as an evil genius, expanding your island base, fighting off the forces of good who come to wreak havoc upon that said base, and also completing acts of infamy, set throughout the globe that will increase your own infamy level, which will unlock new missions, new henchmen, and gets you one step closer to choosing one way to take over the world. But as I reflect on the original game, the game I knew and loved as a young lad and played the demo more times than I care to admit before even I could get the real thing, this game was not without some of its own drawbacks, and so there are a few things on my wish list that I would love to see in the sequel that would hopefully improve the overall quality of the gameplay. For those of us that know the game well, the first thing I'd love to see in Evil Genius 2 is an increase in minion cap limit. In the original, the player was only allowed to have 100 minions in the game at one time. Yeah, it was relatively easy to edit the game files to allow you to have more, don't get me wrong, but you could tell right off the bat that even doubling the minion size kind of felt like it gave you an unfair advantage since you were operating outside the bounds of the game, and also when you factor in the higher minion limits, the game itself could lag. So I would love to see Evil Genius 2 just come with a default higher minion cap, 200, 300, I don't know. However the game is meant to be created, I would like to just see more dudes run around my base. The next thing Evil Genius 2 needs to improve on, and I almost hate to say this, they need to make sure that there's a save button option in the game. I'm not sure what it was with the video game industry back in the early 2000s or late 90s, but they just had this crazy thought that having an actual save button was just more of an optional thing than really more of a, I don't know, necessity. So, you know, in Evil Genius, you had to just basically wait for the autosave to come save your progress if you wanted that to happen. You could change the increments from anywhere between like a minute to 5 minutes, but you know, if something went wrong, if you made a wrong choice or your base got really messed up, well, you better hope that that autosave from 10-20 minutes ago was still around and not overwritten by the continuous onslaught of autosaves, because there's no other way to get back to you where you were originally. Now, the thing I would like to see in Evil Genius 2 is the ability for more choice in the acts of infamy that you do. One idea that I kind of had is, in the game a lot you are abducting people, whether that is to improve your own henchmen or just in some sort of act of infamy to get more notoriety, whatever. I think it would be really cool to have a few different choices with many of the different type of sort of missions that can maybe then do like a sort of choices matter and put you off into different ways. For instance, like I said before, if you were to abduct somebody or take a person of importance out, you would have 3 choices. First, you could take them out in a public manner. It would maybe be harder to do, but you would get more notoriety by killing them in front of a bunch of people. The second one would be maybe you just take them out silently. It's the mission's easier to get done and you're less likely to fail, but you're not as gonna get as much notoriety due to the lack of publicity. The third one would be to actually kidnap the person. You bring them back to the island base, you interrogate them if you want, the nation that you stole that person from then tries to rescue them back. If they can't, Obviously, you get a huge boost to notoriety, and then you would also get a ransom payout. The last thing I'd like to see with Evil Genius 2 is a bit more randomization with the islands and the mission themselves. The problem with the first Evil Genius was that it had a finite amount of replayability in terms of choices. You could only choose 3 different Evil Geniuses, and then you could only have a handful of different endings happen. But in between the beginning of when you choose your geniuses to the end, it's pretty all linear. You know, you're following the same exact path as you would regardless of what genius you choose and what end game you're trying to achieve. So having the chance to mix that up a little bit, have a little bit different opportunity to mix things in the mid game, I think could really enhance the Evil Genius experience. So that would maybe mean having a few more different islands to choose from, a few different endings, few more different endings, different randomized acts of infamy. If Evil Genius 2 can encompass all of that, I would say it would be very much on its way to becoming something amazing. And that's all I have, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you would like to see in Evil Genius 2. If this is your first time watching Game Gamut, please hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, hit that like button. But either way, give me your thoughts on the game. Give me your thoughts on Evil Genius 1 or Evil Genius 2 and what you hope to see. I'm down to talk. Alright guys, as always, happy gaming, gamers.